So, go back to the topic here about disruptive technologies. You need to pay attention to it. I think it's very important that you're aware of disruptive technologies. Things can pass you by, and what usually happens is when you don't pay attention to the landscape of how things are changing, usually the change occurs in such a way that it's too late for you to really make good use of it, capitalize on it. So something to think about, There's something really important actually. And okay, so what if you don't do video blogging? Okay, great, that's not a big deal. But for you to understand it, for you to see the next level, maybe you're on some stairs and you can see the second floor, and you can maybe glimpse and you can maybe see the third floor, but you can't see the fourth floor. So you climb the stairway to the first floor. Okay, now you can see the second floor. You can see the third floor better, and you can see the fourth floor a little better. So this is what it does to you. It changes you so that when you do experimentation and trying new things, it opens up your mind. It extends your vision. That's what travel does for you. Travel does that. Experimenting and trying new things does that for you, but travel really hit it home. Now, what happens when you don't try new things? You become pretty set in your ways, and it's hard not to get set in your ways. Now, what happens? There's a corollary to not trying new things and getting set in your ways. There's a thing called opportunity cost. What is opportunity cost? Oh, look at that girl, man. She's got a little king there going. She's young, like in her 20s. Huh? Okay, so what is opportunity cost? For a lot of you folks that don't know what it is, opportunity cost is like if you choose one thing, you miss out on another. Okay, so there's limited time. You can choose to go see the movies with your buddies, or you can go bowling with some other buddies. You can't do both at the same night, so you choose one. Okay, so you choose to go bowling. You didn't get to see the movie. The next day people talk about it, right? Oh yeah, you know that movie? Oh yeah, when she went up the elevator, blah blah blah, and the guy rode his motorcycle, or whatever. Okay, so there's opportunity cost. You don't have the opportunity to chat with friends about the movie because you didn't go see the movie. Okay, you went bowling. So your choices have a cost. Same way going to movies. Let's say you choose to go to the movies. The cost is, you didn't get to go bowling. So there's a cost, and that is what they call the opportunity cost. Okay, that's as simple as I can break it down for you guys. Okay. Now the reason I wanted to bring that up was because disruptive technologies, being aware of disruptive technology and understanding what it is associated with opportunity costs. A lot of people said, well, I just not into computers. What do I need email for? Who am I going to email? I'm not going to email anybody. There's a big price to that. Okay, so when back in 93, 94, this is when Mosaic was just being invented, just before Netscape. Okay, and the deal with that is when that was around, I was on a Unix machine, and I was doing Elm for email, and VI as my editor, and I came across a company called Network Solutions where they had domain names, www, because the web was just getting started, on a very broad commercial basis for the public. Okay, and so you could do a who is, and you could look at lists and lists of names, okay, of .coms, .nets, .org, and I saw a bunch of .com names. I thought, well, it'd be kind of nice to have a .com name. Bike.com would be cool. Yeah, engineer.com would be cool. Business.com, loans.com. Yeah, romance.com would be cool. Romance.com would be cool, but that's kind of gay. I don't want my friends finding out. They're gonna laugh that I registered for this. And at the time, I was only making $600 a month. For a student, that was considered really good money. Okay, really good. The story with that is I had only made $600 a month. The registration fee, they were the only game in town back then, and in order to register a domain name, it cost you $70 for 2 years. You could only register initially registered for 2 years, okay? So $70 really hurt because I was paying for my dorm, my tuition, my food, and I didn't have a car. I had bicycle, and I couldn't afford insurance. I mean, for health insurance, much less death insurance. I mean, it was really tough. So I thought, nah, I'm not going to register these domain names. Okay, so a few years later, I find out my buddy Ellen in California, his friend is a girl, this Korean girl, and this Korean girl is a friend of this Chinese girl, okay? And he tells me, and I was up in San Jose at the time, and I told Alan about this, oh, I could have registered this and that domain name. And the thing about it was, I decided, well, I told him my regrets, and I told him about business.com. Business.com just got sold for $10 million, and loan.com got sold for $10 million. And I told my buddy Alan about this, and he said, oh, you know what? My friend's friend is married to a guy that just sold loans.com. And I'm thinking, what? He said, yeah. They also own a few other domain names. I think they own romance.com too. And I'm thinking, no! And sure enough, I think they sold romance.com for $2 million after that. And I was just sick. I mean, I was just really upset. Now, it would have cost me $70 for a 2-year registration, which was actually pretty significant, okay? But the opportunity cost was millions, okay? It's not going to hurt you for not doing anything. There's not going to be any difference. But the truth is, it does. If you do not make an attempt, if you're not aware, and you do not, at the time, I just didn't have enough foresight to truly see it. But I had the opportunity. Unlike most people, they became aware of the web too late, later than me, much later than me. And there's another opportunity thing that I was trying to do. I tried to register at.at because I wanted a cool domain, a cool email name. I want at which would have stuck. It was Austria or something. At. But why did I come here? Okay. Here is. Okay, so I finally got on board. I just went to where I lived, like my old house. I used to live on this street way back here. And I passed by this area and I thought, okay, Pikake, right here. You see the street? It says Pikake Place. Okay, I decided, you know what? Pikake is a good name. Pikake is a Hawaiian name, okay? And it's a Hawaiian name for jasmine flower. You know the flower jasmine, or jasmine rice? Well, actually it comes from the jasmine flower. The story goes, the Queen Emma had her own private little garden, and she in her garden she had peacocks, running around wild in her garden, and she had fresh jasmine flowers brought in from India, and the peacocks would like to hang around the jasmine flowers, so she gave the jasmine flowers a Hawaiian name and called it Pikake because of the peacocks. So in Hawaii, Pikake is well known. A lot of people don't know that the Pikake plant is a lot of people really truly don't know that the Pikake plant is jasmine. They just call it Pikake. They just know it's a fragrant flower. So, but I decided, you know what, I'm just going to register that name, Pikake.com. And sure enough, I held on to it. It was for, I think the registration at that time was really cheap. It was like under 10 bucks. Okay? And then I think now it's gradually dropped to like $7.95 or whatever it is. Okay? And sure enough, a few years later, somebody sent me an email from California saying, oh, hey, you know what, I really want the domain name. I want to buy it off of you. And we went back and forth until finally we sold on $1,000. So I sold the domain name for $1,000. Now, it isn't $1 million, okay, but that was a tremendous markup. I mean, I probably had under $50 into it, maybe 40 bucks. But I had out $1,000. Okay, so yeah, okay, you call that cyber squatting, when you just grab a name and just squat on it and sit on it. Well, the lesson there was, I had learned my painful lesson, my $10 million painful lesson, but it doesn't mean that all went to hell. I still cashed in on some of it. Now, what it did was it spanked me into cyber squatting more names. Pikake is a Hawaiian name. It's not widely known, but it is a valuable name because for a certain someone, it was very valuable. You know, he wanted a t-shirt, an Aloha shirt company, and he called it Pikake, and it's just a great name. It's truly a great name. Now, I have a whole other bunch of names that I'm not going to name, and I've cyber squad a whole slew of other names. But you see, what had happened was I did get a glimpse of what of technology, of what happened, and the cost. You know, it was painful. It hurt me, and so having understood that, I was able to make for it in some degree. Now I got some really cool names. I got like two letter name. That's just I got a couple of them actually, and they are worth some serious money. And I'm waiting for it to mature, and somebody. I mean, I've been offered some good money for it, but not enough. But I'm waiting to cash in on it. It might take 10 years, you know, but registrations are very cheap. Now, if you notice my YouTube account, and I think my live video, I put this vlog is sponsored by, and then I'll put subzerodomains.com. Well, I put it there because credit them for getting the, I mean, I have the domain name registered from them, and they're real cheap. This is gonna sound like what do you call, shameless advertising, and it is, but hey man, I cashed in from them, subzerodomains.com. That's because they got low price and they're real easy to deal with and got good tech support. And they have a private registration feature where you won't be able to find out who the registrar is. You don't know who's the owner. You know. You know, you can do a who is on a domain name, and you can find out their name, phone number, email, and all that stuff. But the site has a private registration feature, and you pay extra for it so that nobody can find out who you really are, which is nice. You know, you get this privacy thing so you don't get scammed and you don't get discovered. Yeah, that's really key. I think that's really important. It's really important to have. Alrighty. So that's my little spiel on opportunity costs, and the reason why I have subzerodomains.com, because shoot man, I made a lot of money from those guys. I've saved a lot of money, I made a lot of money.